Hi, welcome to the Rambling Chronic PK Show. I just want to say hello and thank you to everyone who's tuned in here. This is the beginning of the Rambling Chronic PK podcast video style. The audio podcast is been very successful for me, and hopefully you've enjoyed that, and I'd love to hear from you. And if you're not familiar with the Rambling Chronic PK Show, it's an organization that's designed to help people who are hurting in general. I personally suffer from chronic pain, so I cover areas anywhere ranging from chronic pain to emotional trauma. You know, maybe you've had a traumatic event in your life. Someone's wronged you or betrayed you, someone of trust. You know, maybe you've had a devastating event happen in your life. You know, you've lost someone close to you, or whatever it may be. Every person goes through a different set of variables in their life, but I personally want to be able to have a platform to help people because I've battled for the last 7 years with chronic nerve pain. You might be able to see the little patch I wear behind my ear. That's a pain patch that I wear daily and have worn for a couple of years now, and it just kind of takes a little bit of the sting out. The nerve pain that I have it feels somewhat like a bee sting all of the time. So along with the pain that it creates, it also creates a very annoying tingling sensation in my head, and so it becomes a very mentally distracting item. It tends to be very depressing. There's a lot of battles that go along with having chronic illness, so I certainly can understand and relate to anyone who's going through any medical issues, and I'll share some more of that later on as the podcast gets going. Also, you know, I have grown up and have been around in my adult life. I grew up as a preacher's kid, and that's what the PK stands for, and it's a term that's used in a lot of churches for you know, either a pastor's kid or a preacher's kid. My father and mother both were ministers growing up, and I lived in that home. I wasn't necessarily the golden child, if I'll put it lightly, of the family. So I grew up in that environment, but I saw just about every type of bad behavior that can happen, and I had to deal with a lot of that bad behavior, and thus I brought a lot of that with me into my adult life, and I've actually gone through a lot of bad behavior. I used tobacco for 26 years. I was a pretty diehard alcoholic for several years, and you know, I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to struggle mentally, and deal with those things. You know, I've been through a divorce a number of years ago. I've had several traumatic events in my life, ranging from various betrayal to just trauma, to, you know, just all sorts of issues in my personal life, but I've been around everything from abuse to just outright meanness. So I've been exposed to a lot of different lifestyles and a lot of different things that a lot of people would never have the opportunity to see and or experience. So I have kind of a unique perspective and ability to help and sympathize with people who are going through other things. You know, I do struggle emotionally, have for quite some time. It's a genetic thing in my family. My family tends to just have a chronic problem with depression and mood issues. It's been diagnosed over a number of years for several family members, and so I've dealt with that. And so whatever your issue is, your trauma, your experience, odds are I've been around or have experienced even myself. And so I've tried to create an organization that's both friendly to those things, but also that not just deals with trauma, but it tries to help people in general create a better lifestyle. Because regardless of how good or bad our lives are going, we always have the opportunity to improve upon that and live a better life. So that's what the Rambling Chronic PK show is about. We're going to get into a video mode here. The podcast is primarily going to stay an audio podcast, but I did want to create a video segment because there's some things that I just simply put, I couldn't put into words that I really wanted to share in video, and possibly maybe share some time during my runs and my thoughts while I'm running, and it would give a little bit different slant upon the podcast. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you will follow along as we get this party started. You can reach me at ramblingchronicpk.com. The email address is jspencereds@gmail.com. That's JSPENCEREDS@gmail.com. You can also get me at the Facebook page, facebook.com/ramblingchronicpk, youtube.com/ramblingchronicpk, and finally the Twitter account is Twitter. You can reach me at ramblingchronic. There's no PK on Twitter because they don't allow enough characters. So that's me. That's the organization. That's what I'm about. I would love to see you. Come back, subscribe to the podcast, and let's share some time together and make both of our lives a better place to live. Take care. Bye-bye.